So here we are again, trying to figure out how to address this fucking problem. We have, like I said, the pedophiles are the big one. We have these piece of shit attorneys that are part of it too, and the cops, and it's like everybody has a facet in there, and they're fucking, either perverts or they're not giving a shit and they're making money off of the whole fucking thing. Anyways, so what I'm seeing, sorry, what I'm seeing is this magistrate shit, this misdemeanor bullshit. All of a sudden, misdemeanors are DUIs and domestic violence, things that the laws have already been written for these things to make them felonies because they're injury to other people. You don't have to have a DUI law to arrest somebody who causes a wreck and had been drinking while they did it, because a vehicle is considered, a dangerous weapon, and you take responsibility for that. And it was called vehicular manslaughter or attempted, and even if you didn't purposely try to run the person down, the fact is you were too drunk to fucking drive and somebody died. So that it wasn't a murder. It wasn't, this is all already fucking on the books. But then it's like, I was reading this shit articles that's on Blue Lives Matter. And this one was complaining because the higher courts in Idaho made it where the police can't arrest on a misdemeanor that they didn't witness. And they were just like lamenting, like, oh, our hands are tied now. We could arrive on the scene of a wreck of 5 cars in a pileup, and somebody's drunk off their ass standing there, and we can't arrest them now because we didn't see them cause the wreck, and now we can't. And I'm going, okay, first off, motherfucker, right there, how in the fuck do you think that qualifies as a fucking misdemeanor? Okay, so you're saying this piece of shit was so drunk that he ran 5 people off the fucking road, and there's this carnage, and he's there drunk as fuck, and you're going, we'll have to leave him there now because we didn't see it, and so we can't arrest him for a misdemeanor DUI. What in the fuck reasoning does that even make? How is that even when again, that would obviously be like a manslaughter or attempted manslaughter or something, and the vehicle's included, a vehicular manslaughter. I mean, does that not ring a bell to anybody? Vehicular manslaughter or manslaughter at all? So again, what the fuck? And how they could arrive and somebody could have just been the shit kicked out of them by their domestic partner or whatever, and they have to leave the abuser there with the person because they can, even if they see they're bleeding out their brains. I, didn't see the guy hit her or the other way around, because it does happen. I didn't see that, and so we had to leave him there. Well, that's battery, okay? That's a felony. That's battery, or assault, or one of those. We have felony laws for that shit. So what the fuck are you looking to arrest on a misdemeanor for that shit for? And then we go into this misdemeanor court crap. And I get to think USC poo pie pants, I'm fucking dealing with that shit still. Fuck that bullcrap garbage claim I was drunk, and I was not, and they know it. Fucking lying sacks of shit. Fucking sitting at McDonald's, and now because I wouldn't blow for the fucker, and that was a big deal. Big deal. It's like felony not blowing an Idaho cop. It's a felony to not blow an Idaho cop, apparently. But the thing is, I don't have to. I'm from Washington, and I don't have an Idaho license. That was the whole point. But, so, anyways, the whole prosecuting bitch shit, and so I ended up with, 8 charges on top of it, and, all these, and they're going to take my license, which I don't have, because I don't have an Idaho license. It's, kind of the problem here. And yeah, so now it's suspended, and it says misdemeanor shit, and it's in front of these magistrates. And I don't even get it. I cannot understand how that guy sits in his courtroom and watches that shit. And he's either you either believe that crap and you're fucking dumb, or you're crooked. You're bought and fucking paid for, and I don't know which it is. I truly don't. The one thing I do know is you're not a judge by any stretch. You're a magistrate. And I find it very disrespectful that you have attached the name judge to your title, your administrative title. You're overseen by other magistrates, just like other attorneys oversee attorneys. And look how well that fucking works out. Look how well that works out. We have such a great batch of fucking attorneys roaming around doing their shit, overseeing each other, being fucksticks and fucking everybody over, and they oversee that and they watch themselves do it and they all participate. So yeah, they're overseeing very well. But what's the recourse? What's the recourse when, you take these fucking pledges and it's an oath of ethics or the code of ethics? It's like, give me a fucking break. The prosecuting attorney is a perfect example of that. You read that shit and then you watch how these people do their jobs. I don't even know how you justify it. I truly don't. I truly don't. Because it doesn't even match at all. They're supposed to find anything other than prosecuting somebody. They're supposed to spearhead like community involvement and things to rehabilitate people, the wayward thinkers, the true wayward thinkers. It wasn't meant to be a money thing. And they're specific, not about the case, win-loss. And it's, justice is used over and over and over and over in that thing. And justice. Give me a fucking break. Bond paid for justice, maybe. That's about it. So again, the magistrates, you're not a judge. You're not. And so that's what I'm saying. Is they're trying to put a lot of shit down into this misdemeanor shit. So to make him arrestable, they had to make some bad shit be misdemeanors because we can't let that go without arresting that person. But the thing is we should have arrested him anyways under the felony laws because if somebody's hurt, it's automatically that. This misdemeanor shit is supposed to be tickets. Possession. In fact, there's only two. There's simple possession and trafficking. So all this fucking, again, that's not a felony. It's not a felony. Simple possession is not a fucking felony. And see, here it is, felony lands, because there's more money to be made over there. Got these drug classes and drug courts and drug blarfs and everything blarf. And it's a fucking drug testing, drug pissing and barfing, everything. It's a joke. It's a money-making fucking machine. And this is where it's happening. In the misdemeanor fucking courts. And the manipulation of the shit where you put these crappy things down. We have to start arresting. Now you're arresting people for a fucking license. You should be fucking humiliated. And you should be refusing to participate. If you were a judge, you would not participate. You'd throw that shit every time with not competent jurisdiction. I can't rule over this shit. This is non-jailable stuff. Write the ticket and get the fuck out of my courtroom. You're wasting time when there's, important shit to go on. But instead, I don't know, you're either getting paid off or you're just enjoying the show because it's a fucking joke. So that's really a fucking problem. And you have Wes, there's your head guy right there. If that doesn't tell you everything you fucking need to know, Wes Somerton is like the worst attorney I've ever seen, but he's just the sleaziest. He's the sneakiest little yapper. Yap dog. He is. He's like the little Warner Brothers little chihuahua. That's how Wesy looks to me. Wesy Poo Pie Pants. That's what my email is. When I email the prosecution these videos and my emails to my other lawyers and shit like that, it comes from an email. Wesy Poo Pie Pants. Wes Somerton was the inspiration for that. So every time they get my shit, that they hate, it comes from Wesy Poo Pie Pants every time too. It's the little things. Anyways, the magistrates are the problem, and this misdemeanor shit's the problem. The attorneys are running the show, and people need to understand this is a big joke to them. It's a money-making thing, and they don't give a fuck, So when you go on Blue Lives Matter, and you want to sit there and argue, oh, the judges are liberal. The judges are trying to save our fucking asses from our own stupidity. They're like going, God damn it, at least you have to fucking witness the shit, you dumb fucker and prick. We can't stop you because these dumb people below you keep voting this shit in because you manipulate the crap out of them, and we can't change that, and we have to fucking do what we can to keep control. Okay, motherfucker, no, you have to at least see it, okay? You can't just hear somebody did something and go arrest them on a misdemeanor and put them through hell. At least, you piece of shit, you have to have seen it. That's what the ruling was. And everyone's like, oh, holy fuck, we're going to leave these drunk people on the side of the road and they'll be killed on their way home. And no, again, enforce the fucking law correctly. Arrest correctly. See where the problem keeps happening? And that's where the manipulation was going on too. You know, and to read those articles, like, go on Blue Lives Matter, and everybody was just like, holy crap, what about the victims? It's like, well, that's the point. You know, what if there wasn't a victim? Again, if there's too many felons because of drunk driving, then obviously it wasn't the right people that should be felons, and it was affecting their life, then obviously it's being prosecuted wrong and arrested on wrong. And it's ruled upon wrong because it's checks and balances, motherfucker. You want to take judge, you want to say judge, you're supposed to cut that shit. Again, you don't have competent jurisdiction. You can't rule in that because the remedy doesn't make sense. There's no victim. The state can't claim victimhood prior to the act having occurred. And we're here to prove whether or not the act occurred. So whether or not they're a victim happens after the fact. So the fact is that they claim the victimhood as why to bring the charge. No competent jurisdiction, motherfucker. Because there's no victim. There's no victim on record. There's not a verified complaint. Nobody came forth and said, this happened to me because, you know, so-and-so ate the weed in their purse. Never. You know, some other fucked up shit happens. Some other fucked up shit happens. They stick their fingers in your pussy and your purse, and then they find fucking ate the weed. Next thing you know, you're facing felony charges in fucking Idaho. You know? And that's bullshit. It's absolute fucking bullshit. There's no fucking victim. They kept their hands in my pants. They wouldn't have found the fucking weed. Right? They didn't need to have their hands in my pants. Nobody called and said there's something dangerous in my pants and asked him to come look, make sure I didn't have something in my pants that was going to fuck him up. You know, he just decided to have the interaction and decided to do whatever. And so again, you're the ones, if you even make the rule, you're making the ruling, you can end it right there. You don't have to because you don't have competent jurisdiction. You can call that shit, toss it the fuck out, and that's how it should be. It's a checks and balances, and you're going along with it. So you either don't understand the law, which is just as fucked up, considering you want to be a judge, or you're a crooked piece of shit and going along with this crap. Because the truth is, without a statement of jurisdiction on record, nothing you issue into the courts is valid or anything. It's a nullity. It's as if you didn't barf the words into the fucking air. So truthfully, without that on record to begin with, anything you do rule on doesn't mean shit, dick, fuck all anyways. It really doesn't. But you will issue warrants and orders to the police under false pretense, and they'll enforce it with the misconception that it's actually valid. Because again, you snuck the word judge in there, and they think they have to do what the judge tells them. And if it was the judge telling them, maybe it wouldn't be so fucking bad. But it's not. It's magistrates. Magistrates telling them. They're just, what? The sleaziest attorneys of them all? Were you the best ones? Because that's obviously what bred you. And the thinking and everything else that goes along with it. So, I don't know. Dirty piece of shit. Kind of debating. Kind of leaning that way. You're not a judge. That much I know. You'll never hear your honor from me.